Good morning. Welcome to another presentation of Veterans for Peace. My name is David Ross. I'm a graduate of South Burlington High School. I volunteered twice and served 2 tours in Vietnam with the 1st Infantry Division as a medic. No, you can't imagine, but I can promise you war is not the answer to today's problems. It never was the answer.
I'm Pam Walker from Montpelier, and I'm a follower of the Palestinian House of Friendship, which you're going to hear about very shortly. I've been following with great interest all the events in Palestine and Israel for the past, I would say, 14 years. And just recently I returned from a delegation to Palestine in October and got to know a bit of the West Bank over a period of 2 weeks. And I met Mohammed Sawalha again there, and was very excited to learn that he was coming to the States on a 4 or 5 city tour to be able to talk to Americans about the Palestinian House of Friendship and what's going on in Palestine today under the military occupation by Israel. So it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Dave.
I am Mohammed Sawalha. I am a lecturer, professor of linguistics and translation at the University of Al-Najah, which is located in the city of Nablus in Palestine. I am also the director of the Palestinian House of Friendship, an NGO that cares for developing the Palestinian community and taking care of children and the younger generation, trying really to prepare them for a better future in Palestine.
I'm Cliff Bennett, and we've started a new group called Green Mountain Solidarity with Palestine. My roots go back to an academic year in Jerusalem in 1977-78, and several trips back since then.
I'm Dave Ransom, member of this group, Will Miller Green Mountain Veterans for Peace.
Well, I think we should talk about the Palestinian House of Friendship. It's a very, very, very special place, and I had a chance to see a little bit of it, but Mohammed can really tell you from A to Z what it's all about.
Well, the idea of the Palestinian House of Friendship really, it came to my mind and to the mind of some academics, some social figures in Palestine around 1993-94, and that it came as a result of the efforts that have been done and encouraged by Palestinians prior to Madrid Conference for Peace and prior to the agreement of Oslo. So we thought that it seems that something great is happening, and that peace is coming to our land, and we are going to get rid of the military Israeli occupation. So that was a very good motive for us to build an organization that can take care of the community, can prepare them for the coming democratic life in Palestine, especially the negotiation resulted in having elections in Palestine. So the main goal at that time was to prepare the Palestinian community into how to go into elections. And for this goal, we conducted tens of workshops, either in different cities, in refugee camps. We went to factories where women work, where people work. We went to universities, and that to brief them about what does it mean having a parliament in your country. So the most of the effort it was done on that goal, how to widespread civic education, and how to choose the candidates for the coming parliament, believing that what you choose today is going to determine your life and the life of the younger generation and the life of the kids in the future, because the parliament is going to determine everything. So it was really a very turning point in our life, and I am very proud now just to remember after the first elections that we had in 1995 that the Palestinian House of Friendship was able to recruit about 400 volunteers from the northern part of the West Bank, and here I mean the city of Nablus, Tulkarem, Jenin, Qalqilia. So many people came to our center, and they showed their readiness and to volunteer in order to monitor the elections. And for that sake, in cooperation with other organizations in the West Bank and Gaza at that time, also we formed the PDMC, the Palestinian Domestic Monitoring Committee. And we monitored the elections, and I can see that the election it was very transparent, and there were certain problems here and there, but in general, and with the testimony also of the international observers who came also to our area and whom we worked with also, they said that the election really it was very very transparent. So at that time really that was the main goal of starting the Palestinian House of Friendship.
And then what happened?
And then what happened? This is really the story, and really when you believe that yes, you worked a lot, and believing that the negotiation between the Palestinian Liberation Organization, the PLO, and the State of Israel, it was all about achieving peace. And achieving peace for us, it was having a Palestinian independent state, very as a neighbor country, as a neighbor state with Israel. So that was the understanding of reaching a solution or an agreement, either as a result of Madrid negotiation or after Oslo. But what happened, yes, after that, instead really of witnessing certain steps towards peace, our people started really to witness that the situation was not going in that direction. So the people of Palestine started to see that the existing settlements, instead of just at least dismantling them because they are against the international law, we started to see that there was an expansion of those settlements. We started also to hear that there is building of new settlements. We started from the part of the Israelis to see that there are legal settlements and illegal settlements. And we know that under international law, that nothing should be done or should be changed on the status quo when there is an occupying country come to any land. In addition to that, we started to see that, and this is really very, very important, and I like really to talk about, and people, they don't understand that as a result of Oslo Accord, the Palestinian land was divided into 3 areas: Area A, Area B, Area C. These are divisions, geographical divisions. And what does it mean, Area A? It means that it is given, or the whole control, it is under the Palestinian Authority. And when I say under the Palestinian Authority, from an administrative point of view, and the police work there. But the Israelis have the right to come into the cities when they like or when they see that is necessary. Then we have Area B, where the control from an administrative point of view for the Palestinians, but the security, it is under the Israelis. And about Area C, which is about 62% of the West Bank, it was totally under the Israelis from an administrative point of view and a security point of view.
And no Palestinians are allowed to go into Area C unless they've already lived there before. Is that right?
It's let me just draw the picture of about this. If I live in the city of Nablus, but my parents live in a nearby village called Asira. The city of Nablus, it is an Area A, and the Asira, it is an Area B. And usually after at that time there was a checkpoint, an Israeli checkpoint between the two, between Asira and Nablus. In Nablus, I have the right not to carry my identity card, but if it happens that I forgot my identity card and I find myself driving from Nablus to Asira and I am stopped all of a sudden by a checkpoint there, they ask me about where is your ID, and if I don't, I have my ID. Okay, they can just either return me back, or either just humiliate me, or sometimes they keep me there for 1, 2, 3 hours until someone brings my ID there. And if I have my ID and I want to go from Area B to an Area C, okay, the Israelis are there. Okay, so they can stop you, they can arrest you, they can question you. So you are totally under the Israeli military control there. This division between areas, it could be within, let's say, 20 kilometers, which means that we started at that time, and I am one of the Palestinians who started really to feel that he is divided physically and psychologically inside himself. So I have to carry in myself a person who behaves as an Area A person, and another person who has to be ready for Area B person and an Area C person. And that really shattered us from inside. Maybe I can diagnose the situation in certain words as I do in front of you now, but other people may not, but they feel it. They felt it, and they came to a result that this is not really the peace that we want. The other measures, like for example, as I said, in addition to these checkpoints, okay, the Israelis escalated destroying and demolishing the Palestinian homes that are in certain areas, claiming that they have been built without having permits and so on. So that really agitated the whole situation in Palestine, and that led to the Second Intifada in 2000. Yes, that's right, in 2000. And then the Israelis, after they withdrew from the cities after Oslo agreement, they came back with their tanks, and they destroyed the infrastructure. They imposed curfews on all the Palestinian cities. Hundreds of people, they lost their lives because they tried just to resist the coming back or of the Israeli military to their cities. And there are still signs, anyone who can come to Nablus, to other cities, to Jenin camp, he can go and he can still see the massive destruction that happened there. And as you asked me what happened then we decided to have a shift in our organization into just taking care of the younger generation, of the Palestinian children, because really they faced a lot and they lived under continuous pressures throughout the curfew that was imposed on the Palestinian cities. And I still remember, two things I like always, to tell people about in that the city of Nablus, it happened that it stayed about 40 days under the curfew. And the curfew, it means that for 24 hours, you are not allowed to go to the streets. And if you wander, and if any soldier sees you wandering when the curfew is imposed, you are dead. That's it. They shoot you. And it happened that many people, yes, went out and they were shot dead. But I still remember that within these 40 days, there was a curfew consecutively for 14 days, the first 14 days. And you can imagine if you stay with your children, with your family, were not prepared for such a long time. So you are run out of the food, run out of the basic things. It happened, for example, in my family. I opened one day the refrigerator and I found nothing. Then I took a very, I don't know whether it is an insane measure. I decided to go out in order just really to find some food, some eggs, some milk for the kids. But okay, this is really very important. But what was very much important is just to enclose your children for 14 days inside 4 walls and trying to keep them away from windows because the tanks are just going and roaring and all of that atmosphere around them. Then we decided, okay, we have to take an initiative and we have to do something because we don't know when would this will end. So we decided really to find a place under one of the buildings in the basements, and all the parents said, okay, let's try to find a way when things become a little bit easy, right, and have the children and try really to entertain them, to involve them in certain activities that can really free the pressure that they have developed throughout the curfew. And at that time we started what we called the first our summer camp. We called that the Smiling Faces Summer Camp. We were able to collect about 63 children in that basement. And we asked mothers, sisters, teachers just to go and to help us. And that was really a massive move of a voluntary work where people, yes, they came in order just to help this initiative. And I still remember when they are just involving in these activities, singing, dancing, painting, and when they hear the roar of an Israeli Merkava, and the Merkava, it is a name of an Israeli tank, a huge Israeli tank, and when it passes by through residents in the roads, it shakes the whole area. So the kids are told just to keep silent and to continue drawing, and after that Merkava or that the patrol of soldiers just get away from the area, to our surprise, we found that children started just shouting and just trying really to get rid of the pressure that they had in. And from that time, in the Palestinian House of Friendship, we continued from that time until now, carrying this activity of having the Smiling Faces summer camps. And in my visit here to the United States, I came here several times because we thought that we need also to find certain friends here in the United States and in other places just to support our project of the Smiling Faces in Palestine. And even this visit, it is for this goal and for other goals also. I am going to talk about that we do in favor of the Palestinian kids.
Am I right that PHF, as it's called, the only financial support it receives is from the international contributions? Is there any money that comes from the Palestinian Authority, or is it all? Are you just totally reliant on funds coming from Norway, France, Scotland, England, etc.?
Well,
U.S.
In general, we do our best also internally there, locally, in the Palestinian House of Friendship. We have some other activities like giving, for example, classes in English for those who want to improve their English, for Arabic, for for foreign speakers. So we get some fees.
Some fees.
Yes, and we put some of that money in order just also to for our activities, whether the Smiling Faces summer camps or other activities that I'll talk about that. We approach also Palestinian businessmen.
Okay.
And we ask them also just to support our programs, and it happens.
Good.
And my visit here to friends who came and visited us in Palestine, most of the friends of the Palestinian House of Friendship here in Palestine, they are people who came to Palestine and they saw the life of children in Palestine, and they came to the Palestinian House of Friendship and they know what we are doing. So I think it was an initiative from them. Sure. Also to help some of these activities. We have very ambitious goals for the kids. Why the kids? Easily I can see very simple things. I don't know when the occupation will end of our land. This is really a very big question. And I think it seems that international powers are involved in what is happening in Palestine, as they are involved in all the crises all over the world. So to say that we can get for example, something on the ground as a small organization or as Palestinians, I think it's not maybe the time for that, and that is really could be now possible. So what we thought in our organization is that we can do on the other level, or on another level, and that is to invest in the human being, to invest in the children. Because if we invest in in children and give them hope and build them physically and spiritually and mentally, all right, and make them healthy people in their thinking, and that they know that they can do anything that they like, I think this is a better mission, more than involving maybe, although we still do some civic education and so on. But now our priority is on just giving hope, is giving chance, is trying really to keep as many as we can. We started with 62 in 2000, and now we are talking about this year. We are going to conduct 3 summer camps for children, and we are talking about around 350 to 400 children. And since that time, we are doing the same. And if you want to calculate, all right, if we take an average of 200 for about 17 years, from 2000 until now, okay, so you talk now, we are building a generation that he believes in itself. He believes in that he can, or they can. They believe in their culture, they believe in their heritage, because we teach them Palestinian music, we teach them the Palestinian culture, we teach them the Palestinian dabka, and dabka, it is the word for dancing, the folkloric dancing. So we believe that if they understand their history in the right way, if they understand that there are genuine things in their community, I think we see that yes, we do our job. Why I am saying this? Just because Palestinians, they live under very let's say severe economic situation now, which means the pressures on the family is reflected also on the pressure on the kids.
Of course.
So we want really just to touch certain issues, very simple issues that can build really this Palestinian child who in the future, and we hope, and I see some of those whom we started with in 2000 and before, now they are in key positions. Some of them are businessmen, some of them are doctors, and so on. So this investment could reflect itself on our life, and that is really a guarantee that one day, yes, okay, when we have an independent state, at least with these few resources, yes, we can say that we shared as a Palestinian House of Friendship. We shared, yes, or we took our role with these kids. I'm not saying that we are investing here now in buildings, investing in infrastructure. We have very little resources, but we do our utmost with these resources. I mentioned building our community or children also on the physical level, and for this goal, we worked with a Scotch organization. They call themselves the Skate Pal. And we built a skate park in a nearby village. It is my village where I was born. It is Asira al-Shamaliya. And there is now a skate park. It is considered as at least volunteers tell us who shared in its building that it is one of the best in the Middle East.
Oh my gosh.
And
Amazing.
yeah, that's right. And the skate park, it was done in a cooperation between three organizations. It is the Palestinian House of Friendship, who got the idea and prepared for it, and the municipality of the town of Asir al-Shamaliya, who offered a piece of land, and without that the skate park couldn't be founded. And also we are very much thankful to this Scottish organization that they call themselves Skate Pal, who recruited more than 30 volunteers from different parts of the world who came, yes, who came to our village, who came to the town of Asira, yes, and in 2 months they were able to build with our support, with all the facilities that was given to them from the municipality of Asira, and we opened that a year and a half ago. And to tell you the truth, now when I go there and I see at least every day between 40 to 50 kids are just skating, and in the weekends to see more than 100 with their families coming also to that area, that is my great happiness. Just because I started really to see that we created a place for these kids who don't have any place where to recreate or to entertain or to spend their leisure times. And as one of the people in the town told me, Muhammad, what you have done is a miracle. I told him, how? He told me that those kids, we used them always to see them in the streets, quarreling, shouting, and making just problems with each other. Now that completely ended. It is now all of them, everyone has a skateboard under his shoulder, and they go to the skate park.
Tokyo. Tell them about Tokyo.
I
about
wanted to interject one thought. You're working with kids for the future.
yes,
We in Veterans for Peace increasingly are focusing on getting into schools. Traditionally, the type of organizations that we fit into, anti-war, anti-imperialist, pro-democracy, support of third world countries, we've always sort of gone after the voters, 18 years and older, who in many cases are relatively fixed in their thinking. Kids, much more flexible in their thinking. So increasingly, Dave and I, others, we across our country are going into schools and we're talking with kids
That's
and we're
terrific.
talking in their language,
yeah,
things that they can visually grasp, like what is it like to live in Palestine or a Bosnia or Yemen or any number of other places. And oh my God, to live in Iraq or Syria, where life is literally hell on earth. And the thing that's gratifying is the kids intuitively understand that killing each other to take things from each other, to control each other, to extract resources, to put people favorable to your business interest in power, it's not right. Somebody asked me once on Facebook, or they brought this question up, what is the purpose of life? And without really thinking, I had a kind of quick response. We're all just visitors passing through a miracle.
That's beautiful.
We're on our road back to where we came from.
yeah.
Our purpose here is to help each other along the way. And kids intuitively understand this. We're not here to take and hurt. We're here to find the joy in helping, in accomplishing, in helping others to accomplish. So I think we're starting to learn. Not that we've lost the generation that we're part of, that we had so much hope for in the late 60s, early 70s, but that you cannot just focus on we older folks, because we have theoretically, because in a lot of ways voting's a sham, but that theoretically we have the power, or at least we like to think that we do. But the real change for the future, if you're looking the long term, the long distance for humanity, is to get the kids to understand basic morality.
Yeah.
How, there was a great Buddhist saying, the young novice is talking to the Buddhist master, and he says, "Master, how do I treat the others?" And the master replies, "There are no others."
That's
So,
beautiful.
yes, reaching the kids. I think this is the next frontier of change. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Last night, Mohammed was speaking in Montpelier to a group of 30 people who gathered together and taking the skate park idea. Can you share with us, Mohammed, plugging into what David just said about where the adults are helping the children to be able to go?
Yeah, I want just also just to comment on what Pam. Then I come to what you asked me now. Pam just raised the issue of Tokyo, and what is the relationship between Tokyo and the PHF and the skateboarding. Olympic Games Committee took a decision to consider skateboarding for the Olympic Games in Tokyo in 2020 as an official game. And we took this idea and we presented it in front of our kids in that small village. And we told them, now we have to have a slogan in Asira, which is a town of about 12,000 people. And this slogan, it says, from Asira to Tokyo. So we are now away 3 years from the Olympic Games. Let's start. We started from nothing, having no skateboard, having even no idea about skateboarding, because skateboarding is not a game or a sport that is known in Palestine. Having no skate park, but now you have your skateboards, you have skate park, and now you have a belief that you are able, under all the circumstances, and there is a great message that you can send, that we can go from this small village, which is under occupation, which is under the military checkpoints. We are going to Tokyo, and we will win. And I told them that, remember what I am saying, you can. And something funny happened while I was just talking with the mayor and with the general director of the Ministry of Education, because we went all of us there. Then one of the kids, he said, what is this Tokyo? Where is Tokyo? Then I told him, then we told him that where is Tokyo as a capital of Japan, and the Olympic, do you know what is the Olympic Games? Yes, I know what is the Olympic Games is going to be, yes, in a country that's called Japan, in its capital that is called Tokyo, and so on. They started really shouting, laughing, and they started after that skating. So yeah,
They have a goal.
this is the idea.
Yeah.
The idea is also, I am really very much gratitude. I'm very much really thankful for the support and for the initiative that was taken from Skate Pal in Scotland in bringing this idea, in bringing this project into existence with our help, with the help of the municipality. Their presence also as international visitors in, let me say, in a conservative society, in a conservative village, who have never been in touch with international people, let me say, with the international cultures, all right? So that added to the flavor. So they gave their experiences to the kids. The kids even started to know about certain figures, like a person like Tony Hawk, who was really an expert in skateboarding. But let me say here that we are in shortage of skateboards. When they came only with 20, and I told you that we have about 100 or more even of children who wants to skateboard. We don't have the safety equipments. We have the skateboards, but the most important thing is that we don't have the safety equipment, especially the helmets and other parts. I don't know what do they call them, but at least to keep the kids really safe. So part also of my visit here is trying really to find, not only here, of course I am writing and others are trying to help us, how can we also generate money that we can buy these equipments, and how can we save them and secure them. And I am very happy now I am on your TV, and really it is a call to anyone who is interested in skateboarding, just either to reach Pam, she could just say something about her address. She's a friend of ours helping us, but also we need really to see also some kind of help where we can bring this dream that I talked about really possible. So this kind of intercultural relationship that we had now with the volunteers it added to the flavor of life in the city. So it's not only as a sport, more than now the people of the town of Asira and even the surrounding in the city of Nablus and the surrounding villages. Now they are exposed to new cultures, and the good thing is that the volunteers themselves also started to learn Arabic, started to taste the Palestinian food, sharing the Palestinians their good events, their bad events. So we through this experience also we added a new flavor to the Palestinian life.
A quick thought to interject is if anybody in the audience is interested in contributing towards the skateboards, they can make a check, Veterans for Peace, care of VCAM, VCAM, and just put Flynn Ave, Burlington. And it'll get to us. We will consolidate it as a bank money order and get it to Pam, who can then turn it into an international money order and get it off. So again, if you'd like to contribute to this incredible effort, just send it Vets for Peace, Skateboards, VCAM, VCAM, Flynn Ave, Burlington, Vermont, and we will get your money skating.
I have a question about the skateboarding too. You're talking with an ice skater, Mohammed, so I know nothing about skateboards.
Hockey player?
Ice.
No, not ice. Yeah, no.
Ice, yeah. You don't? Okay. Well,
we don't have
and
ice.
you're talking about Olympics in Tokyo, and holy smokes, I was reflecting on some competitive activities. Is it sculling, rowing? Is one of the activities where one of the corporations who make the equipment stepped forward and said, we're going to supply every team with our sculls, was it, or something like that, so that each team will have equal competition between the boats.
Yeah.
Now I'm wondering if when you get up to that level, international and then Olympic and so on, whether there's a particular kind of board that makes them more competitive. And I'm wondering if that same question is going on among the manufacturers. Maybe we should supply a team with our boards so that they're all equally competitive.
Yeah.
I wondered if that thought, this comes from somebody who knows nothing about skateboard. As I told Mohammed earlier, my first vision was, hey, this is great. This is a guy who's developing a park that can develop a skateboard that'll go right over the wall.
Yeah.
And I want you to tell your response because it is so wonderful.
Yeah. Yes, to fly over the wall, and I think we should have some kind of painting, a graffiti about this. I think when all the people in the world really celebrated the demolishing of Berlin Wall that divided Eastern Europe from Western Europe, divided the Germans in the east from the Germans in the west, divided the two cultures on the two sides. When all the people really celebrated that, unfortunately, I don't know why. I may also just keep it for others to comment on that, on this. Why they permitted, why they don't talk about really a vicious wall that is now built between Palestine and Israel, that now segregates the two people, the Palestinians and the Israelis,
This is pure America.
on the two sides. While I was talking yesterday with someone about the wall, a woman just approached me and she told me, is the wall of my height? I told her, no, dear. The wall, it is about 8 to 10 meters high. All right, so you can imagine that it blocked the sunset. It prevented people to smell fresh air. and at the time of winter, the whole area, the farms, and some of the houses are flooded with water because water doesn't find a passage to go to the other part of to the sea or to the valley and so on. So yes, unfortunately, Israel built a wall of hatred, and I agree with you that with these kids, and I hope also with the kids also of Israel, to have the same thing, that we should not let this really continue, and this is really what we plant in the hearts of the people of our kids. So I am totally with you that we want them with their skateboards being able just to go over this wall of hatred, if not physically, at least mentally, at least spiritually. And I am very sure by just planting these seeds in them, seeds of loving the other, the neighbor, and so on, I think they will do that. This is something really very aching to people, I think, on both sides. Maybe it is an achievement by politicians, and it seems that politicians, they do not hesitate always talking about building bridges. Building walls, not bridges.
It's such an irony because Ronald Reagan, who was a very conservative American president, he talked to the president of Russia, Mr. Gorbachev, and his thing before the whole world was, Mr. Gorbachev, take down this wall.
Yeah.
But all the presidents since then, I've never heard any of them say, Mr. Netanyahu, take down this wall.
Yes.
Now we will build our own wall between our country and Mexico.
Yeah.
Where's the progress?
Yeah.
Where's the evolution of humanity?
Yeah.
Or are we headed back towards some kind of dark ages where all countries have walls and we continue to throw armies of children at each other because old men can't agree on things? And when enough children have died, finally the mothers and the others say enough, and then the old men find an agreement.
Yeah.
It
Sounds like the progress is in Nablus.
And see, we have a husband, we have a father, we have a grandfather, but he not only is getting to know about skateboarding, but he shared a story last night also about a whole new approach to music that he's been learning about. Can you tell us about that, Mohammed?
Well, while I am really here in this studio, really it tempted me into going everywhere, looking at the rooms, looking at the cameras, and looking at the recording, because yes, we are now building a music studio also in our center. And that is also again for the young people, for the kids, to find themselves able to come and to record their skills in singing, in music, and playing music. And to tell you, do we have talented persons, talented children? Yes, we have many, but all right, everything is not organized. So we thought that having a music studio, having the equipments for that, we could just give them also another chance to do that. And the good thing is that throughout my visits here to the United States, I found some people, some good people who just said, okay, go ahead. And okay, we will support, and they are supporting us on this, and I am really very much gratitude, at least to two names, Maria Rekliki, she's from New York, and Dean Saikon, also they are supporting us on this level. They are very generous on that. We are now working with the University of Manchester on UK, who said, we are ready, yes, we are ready just to give you the equipments for that. But now we are facing a certain problem of how can we get these equipments into our organization.
How about a few MIT and Olin graduates? Could they help out? Anybody out there have a connection?
Well, okay, what I am dreaming of, yes, is just really to having this recording studio functioning, doing the job, and if we have a TV studio at a later stage, I will be very happy on that. But I want also to add something that is relevant to the situation in Palestine, and what are we going to use this studio for? We are going to use this studio for also to record the Palestinian oral history. Our history also is vulnerable. Our history is subjected also to be destroyed. It's not only the land, it's not only the water that really is in a real danger now in Palestine. It is our food, it is our folklore, it is our the kind of the decoration that we have on the Palestinian embroidery. All of these is about really to be taken and is to be confiscated from us. So,
And even your sources of water.
yeah, that's right.
That's right.
That's right. So, as I said, the human being is the most important thing. Also, the culture is the most important thing. It is the stories that now die with the death of the older generation. We want to record that. We want really to archive that. We want really to tell that this is a Palestinian, the Palestinian culture. And we want the whole world to know from the mouth of the people that this is completely Palestinian, because I don't really guarantee what's going to happen. What's going to happen. So, this is another also thing that we are going to do. We have already started doing that. And do we need the resources for that? I think yes. Do we need the experience of others also for that? Either, for example, talking MIT, talking about Manchester University, talking about others. Our center is going really to open for any effort from whoever, even people who have, let's say, experience about that.
Yeah.
Just also to help the Palestinian House of Friendship into doing that.
Some are right here in Vermont.
Any intern who has really an effort, he is mostly welcomed to come to Palestinian House of Friendship and to help us.
And my background education at the college level is cultural anthropology. Now, a person in the world is many, many different things. But at your core, and someone will ask you, who are you? Your answer will be in terms of your culture. I have my culture.
Yeah.
I come from here to here. I look to go to there. The first thing that occupying countries, Nazi Germany is an excellent example of this. The first thing when one country, especially if there's a cultural difference, takes another country, the first thing they do, destroy the obvious symbols of the culture, the religion, then they start to destroy the core values and to substitute them with their own, because the one way to enslave people is to bring them, to steal their culture, destroy their culture, bring them from their culture to accept your culture.
Yeah.
And it is
Standing rock.
absolutely crucial to record your history, your culture, your customs, your religion, your habits, your beliefs.
Yeah.
The things that are sacred as locations on your land.
Yeah.
Standing Rock.
Yeah.
We all need to remember.
I just want to put in one plug about how the sound studio is going to be used. And what began in the beginning of that sound studio was Mohammed's son, Majid, is a very talented rap artist. And you were telling us yesterday that his rap is very political. So it's another way to reach the world. And can you say about the band? He has the
behind bars band. Well, this is really also this is a very indicative story. It's not only political more than it is social. And a mixture of that. And this is why you know, the idea even of the studio, it's his idea also. And they are a group of young men, about 4 young men at that time, and 2 girls also. They paid money from their pockets in order to buy recorders and speakers and so on, just to record their rap songs. And once he approached me and with others, and he told me that we want some support for we do rap things. And I had really, me myself as a father, I had no idea about what is rap. He told me, haven't you heard of Eminem? I told who's that Eminem? He gave me a virgin and to hear one of his songs. I told him I understood nothing. Then, all right, he showed me the script for the songs. Yeah. Then, okay, that at least gave me an idea that there must be a message behind that. Then I told him, can you just tell me some of your songs? And to my surprise, as a father, really, I found that really he's talking about very, very sensitive issues, about the relationship between the younger generation and their parents, about the younger generation and the occupation, about the free movement from one city into another, about the social class, about poverty, about drugs, and all of these things. Then I really realized that, okay, that there is a generation that is evolving, and it seems that we parents, we are not paying so much attention to that. And if we had paid really attention, I think we could have done much better with them. So then he came to me and told me, okay, we need a place where we need to practice. I gave him a place in the Palestinian House of Friendship, a very small room. They turned it into a mess, writing on the walls, doing here and there. But okay, I said, okay, that room is yours. Do whatever what you like.
They're being creative.
But all of a sudden, then he came with me and he has a piece of paper and he showed it to me. And that was an invitation. For what? He said that we have a performance. Where? Here in the city of Nablus. And about 350 of young men were in that performance. I was really stunned and shocked that there are also an audience. There is an audience that also such interested in that.
Sure.
And what really also that I made some kind of balance. That some people, if they ask, let's say, for a political meeting, you don't get 100 or 50 people, but okay, now you get 300 and so on. Yeah. Then after a month, he invited me to Ramallah, a nearby city. And I told him for what? He said that we received an invitation to perform in the Cultural Palace. And the Cultural Palace, it absorbs more than 1,000. And the whole stadium, it was packed with people. And you do not believe. Of course, they and other people. So the idea here is that this is also that listening to people, listening to children, listening to the younger generation, I think it can also build bridges, not only among them, but also with their parents, with their teachers, with the officials. At least you have the right to listen to the people, to the younger generation, because not listening to them, I think by itself is a crime. You have to listen to them, and you have to draw policies really for the future, at least according to what they feel.
Blessings to the dad of linguistics.
It's a defect in our thinking, because we say generation gap, and we act like there's some sort of void, like a vacuum between generations.
Yeah.
We need to rethink how we visualize generation gap. What we need to see is people of all ages, from youngest to the oldest, holding hands in a continuous flowing line. I saw a beautiful picture once, and it was about 9 or 10 women naked, sitting with their legs apart from the oldest, and each one's sitting kind of in front of the lap of the other one, down to this newborn baby at the end. And it was all one family from the great whatever grandmother on down, and the continuity. So before we run out of time, I want to remind people, if you would like to help contribute to buying skateboards for these kids, just send your check, Vets for Peace or Veterans for Peace skateboards, care of VCAM, Flynn, F-L-Y-N-N, Flynn Ave, Burlington, Vermont. Vets for Peace skateboards, care of VCAM, Flynn Ave, Burlington, Vermont. You will have a hard time finding a better way to make a contribution to the future not only of Palestine but of world peace generally. And we certainly endorse this, so we will get the money to where it needs to go. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the audience. And this is a great opportunity for me as a Palestinian from the Palestinian House of Friendship, from a Palestinian from an occupied Palestine, to have a wish, and that is to have peace and to have freedom and to have our own state like all the people. It's not only for me or of the people of my age. It is for the Palestinian kids, for my grandchildren. Thank you.
And that should pretty well wrap us up for this week's production.
You going to do a rap, Dave?
Yes, it's time.
I could, I
could,
would, I
yeah.
should, but I digress. So thanks everybody for watching.
It was a